Everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Open Discussion Sharing Tips and Tricks and Things to Never Do. This webinar is brought to you by Applied Software Graitec Group. My name is Missy Scott, and I am pleased to be your moderator today. As a reminder, you can find a schedule of upcoming events, webinars, and training on our calendar at asti.com/calendar. I'm very pleased to introduce our speaker today. Rick Kremer is the one and only Rick Kremer. He is a Bluebeam certified instructor at Applied Software Graitec with tons of years of experience in the field. He is also a featured presenter at Bluebeam XCon. He's a monthly host of Bluebeam webinars. He is an advocate for Bluebeam and AE integration. He is also going to be a host of some of our tech talks at AU this year. I mean, he's everywhere. Yeah, and today we've got him for our webinar today. So thank you so much for joining us today. Talking about AU though, I've got you guys here. If you're going to AU, myself and Rick included, he's got some tech talks that we're going to be hosting in our booth 209. If you register and attend, then you are entered to win one of 3 Yeti coolers. These coolers are really amazing. I have one of my own, and they're worth $300. So on top of that, you get to sit with Rick and watch some of his tech talks, as well as tech talks from experts across the different industries. So you can scan the QR code on the screen or go to the link in the chat for that.
Oh, wait, Misty, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Let's go back a screen right now. Now, that Yeti cooler, is that true to size? Is it going to be like this big? It's like little itty
It's
bitty.
not
So
that big. It's
it's
big.
big.
Like,
So
yeah.
if I win, I'm putting my name in. I guess I can't put my name in. Man,
It'd
I'll
be
tell you.
favoritism. We couldn't do that, Rick.
I know. All right. So let's say my friend, I don't know, I'm going to pick someone that's on the call. Brian. Brian's on the call here. Brian, congratulations. You won the cooler. How's he going to get that home? I mean,
Yeah, we're going to mail it to you guys. Nobody wants to travel back from AU with additional bags they have to check. That will rule out the free gift. You don't
I
have to
know,
worry
right?
about anything. Yeah, we're going to mail
Can't
it
fit
to
it in the
you.
overhead compartment too easily.
Right.
Just
I don't think it
shove
will.
it
No,
in
it's
there.
pretty big.
No, you can put your suitcase in it. Brian, you can put your suitcase in it
Probably.
and your bag. Oh my goodness. But hey, folks, if you are attending Autodesk University this year, it is in San Diego. Please look for us. I'll be wearing the fedora. I don't have it on right now. By the way, if I'm choppy in my video right now, I'm located on the east coast of Florida where Hurricane Milton came through, and luckily everything's good, Ren. No issues. So anyway. But what I wanted to say is thank you all for attending. If you see me at AU, please say hi, tap me on the shoulder, come see us at our booth. Although we will not have a dedicated area for Bluebeam, but you know me, I'm the Bluebeam guy. You have a question, come ask me. I will be happy to talk to you about everything Bluebeam right there on the booth. Even though Bluebeam's not represented there, but you know me. If you have a question, come see me and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. So again, let's get right to it. Today's presentation is all about, oh, wait a minute. First, we
No,
have something for
you
Misty.
gotta
Yo!
let me have my fun. I've got a trivia question and I
Oh,
like
that's
this one.
right. Oh, that's right. Oh, I
Yes.
love these. I love these.
Okay. So for today, the trivia question is, in October of what year was the first email ever sent? So 1969, 1971, 1981, or 1989? What do you guys think? We've got some
You know,
1981s,
you
some
know what? I'm,
1971s.
I'm going to go with my birth year. That's right, 1969. Whoop whoop. That's how old or young I am. And
Well, let me
yep.
tell you something. You're older than the email, okay? Because the first email ever sent was in October 1971, marked a groundbreaking.
Uh-oh. I don't know what happened. Misty, you there? Oh, I don't know if Misty's there. Wait, let's wait. She's back.
Let me reshare that.
I'm gonna turn, there we go. I'm gonna turn off my camera. Maybe I'm sucking up bandwidth. I don't know. I think we're still live and we're having some technical difficulties. You know, the internet.
I know. Okay. So you guys, I'm gonna turn it over because my internet is going out. Sorry about that, guys.
All right. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. I see that there's 59 of you. I'm looking at my camera, but it's not on. So, even though you can't see us, hopefully you can hear us. Let us know in the chat if you can hear us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing my screen. If you all have questions, this is the time for questions. I'm going to go ahead and start with some of my tips on how to, uh, some best workflows for working, things to do and not do. Hopefully you're seeing my screen, and we're good. So over here, what we want to do is I just want to start off by taking a look at some of the tips and tricks, things not to do. So a lot of times people are exporting out from AutoCAD and or Revit. Revit, I got to be honest with you, is perfect. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but when we start exporting out from Revit to a PDF, it's pretty straightforward, right? I'm going to open up an AutoCAD file over here and just kind of show you some of the things that I would recommend when working in an AutoCAD environment. There's a little feature here in Autodesk, AutoCAD. This is AutoCAD architecture. It's going to be the same thing with straight vanilla AutoCAD or in AutoCAD 2025. When you start to go through and create a print of a PDF, here's my preferred method of creating a PDF within the AutoCAD environment, and it's going to be very similar within Revit, is you could go through over here and print like you were to do a regular print and hit plot, and then go over here and change this to one of the DWG to PDF or AutoCAD to PDF. But here's what I would suggest instead, is in AutoCAD, what you want to do is actually select export PDF. And this is basically going to give you what you need to do as a PDF. And you can export the display or the window. In this case, what I typically like to do is if I have a page set up, of course, I'm going to use the display. But being that I'm in model space, I'm not going to do the display, but instead I'm going to do a window and then pick the window of the area that I wish to print, right? And here's the big one. All right, so here's the kicker. Take a look at options. If you want to include your AutoCAD layers in the PDF, include layers? You'll see right here by default this is turned on, but you might have it turned off. If you go to options, include layer information. So what this does, it behaves like AutoCAD in review. So you can turn on and off layers, but without this turned on, you don't get layers. The other bad thing is if you use the plugin from Bluebeam that is going to be up here in the toolbar, both in Revit and specifically actually DWGs and AutoCAD, you're not going to get the export out layers. So don't use the add-ins of Bluebeam Review in AutoCAD. Use just a regular AutoCAD export to PDF. Include layer information. Make sure this says include. And watch, I'm going to go ahead and just put this in and put this in as ta-da, ta-da. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Remember, include layer. I'm going to hit save and it's done, right? Let's go into review over here. And I'm going to open up that, ta-da. I'm going to select open, go to downloads, and there's the ta-da. I select it. Untitled viewports. So there's a couple things about troubleshooting with AutoCAD drawings. First of all, it has viewports it doesn't know what to do with, so go ahead and hit yes to get rid of those viewports. So let's focus on layers. First and foremost, Bluebeam will display the plotted line weights. Over here in the display properties, we can select this off and you can see this is what it looks like using that CTB from AutoCAD. I always work with line weights off, and that's the way most people work in AutoCAD as well as in Revit. So I'm going to turn on disable line weights. By the way, anything that's blue means it's enabled. Well, what do I mean by layers is if we go over here to layers on the left-hand side, look at this. You see all the layers? This is something that is out of AutoCAD. If you use the Bluebeam review add-in, it puts it all on one just layer, which is nothing. Here, I can start to go through and turn off, check it out, my furniture. You see things turning off in these cubicles? It is pretty darn cool. So, I can start to turn off the floor partitions. I can turn off these furnitures, these cubicles right here. And little by little, clean up that PDF the way that I need it to be. How cool is that, right? When we start to take a look at Bluebeam again, this is the information that I really want to look at, the core and shell. And so now at this point, there's nothing I need to do. I can minimize this and basically begin to work. The other thing that we can do, which is really, really helpful, is just in case they are turned on here in layer information, is things that can be printed, right? So all of these, I don't want them to print at any point in the future. I'm going to select them all and uncheck these right here so that they do not print. Boom, 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 boom. Right, and the same thing over here on these guys. So this is just like in AutoCAD where we have things that plot and don't plot. So that's really, one of the really major takeaways is using layers. Now, let's say for argument's sake, you're like, Rick, we don't have anything in layers. It comes from Revit, right? And in Revit, we don't have layers because Revit rocks. And when we get a drawing, if we get a drawing in as a PDF and we get it from a consultant that's using, let's say, a third-party application to print, or it comes from that AutoCAD application, a lot of times when you first get a drawing, you're going to get a bunch of layers over here on the markups list. If you don't see the markups list, select this to turn it on. This is a little hamburger icon to show layers. But let's take a look at this real quick. What you see here on the markups list are AutoCAD information that is in SHX fonts. So if I had details or drawings of any information that had an SHX font built in, like a dimension string, a call out, text, whatever it is that has SHX, it comes in over here in a non-use layer, non-use markups layer. The problem with this is there's nothing that can be done with these. You can't delete them. I can't select it. You'll notice it's grayed out. It's deleted. Now, this only has 3 of them. Not a big deal. But when reality is when I get a drawing in AutoCAD that's sent to me, it has hundreds of these. So, folks, when you first get a drawing, open up your markups list. If you have a bunch of SHX fonts.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you? Can I add whatever?
Yep. Hi, if you want to mute yourself. Hi. Over here, we have all these SHX fonts. To get rid of them, easy peasy, folks. Over here, go to Document and Flatten. Again, why do we do this? Is because as we start to develop our markups, we don't need these in the way. And quite frankly, what they end up doing is, let's just say they make the file a little bit more corruptible, right? It can start to give you issues when it has information that Bluebeam doesn't know what to do with. So how do we get rid of it? You can't delete it, but we can flatten it. Check it out. Right over here under Document, select flatten. What you want to do is select everything here in the options dialog box, okay, and uncheck allow markup. So this feature right here allows you to flatten a document and then later on unflatten it if you want. That's a whole nother discussion, but over here what I want to do is I want to get rid of it altogether and I'm going to flatten it. It basically, think of it like squishes it into the white piece of paper here. So I'm going to check this, clear it, click flatten, boom. Guess what? My markups list is now clear and ready to roll. How cool is that? Whoop, whoop. So now go ahead and save it. So now I've saved that file. My layers are still intact, right? Flatten does not get rid of layers. It just puts the information in the markups and embeds it inside. And that's exactly what I want. So now the next step that I want to do to get my PDF ready for consumption is find out what the scale is, right? So over here, this is at 1/8 of an inch. Well, remember, I did a plot to scale, pretty much zoom to fit. So this might not be at 1/8 of an inch. So a lot of people will set the scale according to this, but let's see what happens. If I'm doing linear calculations or area calculations, it's imperative to have the correct scale. A lot of people just kind of get, let's just call it lazy, and put the information here and say, yeah, it says 1/8. I'm going to set the scale at 1/8 and have my level of precision to whatever I want it to be. Rounding, right? This is like dimension rounding. I'm going to round it up to a full inch. And I think I'm off to the races and I'm good to go, right? But did the person who sent this to me actually print it to scale? This says it's at 1/8. This is at 1/8. Well, let's do a quick dimension check. Now, unfortunately, there's no dimensions here. Let's see if there's a dimension layer. Wah, wah, wah. There's not. So what do? Let's take a look at this drawing more carefully. And if we look at a typical door, right? All your doors are always going to be 3 feet. For the most part, all typical doors are 3-foot openings. So let's do a quick test. I'm going to go to Tools, Measure, Length. Now, if this is the first time you're doing this, measure length is just like dim linear in AutoCAD or a regular dimension in Revit. This is point A to point B. So I'm going to do length, and I'm going to come over here. Let's zoom in on this door and go from here right here. Oh, folks, look at that. 10 inches. You know it's not 10 inches, it's 3 feet. So what do? We fix it. So let's go back to Tools, Measure, and Set the Scale. Clearly it's not an 1/8 inch, so what we do, and this is what I do all the time, no matter what drawing I get, I always do custom scale and I calibrate. This gives me an opportunity to pick 2 points on my PDF that represent the distance. I'll click calibrate, and it's going to give me this dialog box, right? It says pick 2 points of a known dimension to calibrate the measurement of this drawing. And you can set calibration for 1 sheet or multiple sheets at one time. This just happens to be 1 sheet. I'm going to select OK, and automatically it's going to say, hey, what is that area that we're dimensioning? I'm going to pick that same door. I'm going to go from here. And by the way, another shortcut, quick tip, hold Shift and it goes straight. And I'm going to go all the way to this point. That highlighted area represents the dimension area. That's 3 feet. Precision, again, round it up to full inch, apply scale, and now we're cooking with gas. 3 feet. Let's do another dimension real quick. I'm going to go to Tools, Measure, Length. Let's get another doorway right over here. From here to here. 3 feet. We're good. So now when I start doing area calculations, everything is going to be accurate. So if I do an area calculation and I say, what's the area of this one right here? It's 282 square feet. By the way, if this is too big, right? Just change the scale. Over here, I'm going to change it much smaller, 282, maybe down to 6 points so it's nice and small. Give it a nice fill color. What's the problem with this? You can't see through it. No worries. Over here in the top properties toolbar, change it to highlight. Now it becomes highlightable. Pretty cool. I'm going to make that even smaller. That's really, really tiny. So that, in essence, is what we need to do. And if I want this to be the default, every time I bring in an area, I haven't even talked about creating specific area measurements, subject related. But if I want this to be the standard that I'm going to use, select my markup, right click, and set as default. This is kind of like an easy way to set up your markups just for default use. Like I always want them coming in yellow. Give it a new name. So over here, change the properties as you like. Over here, set as default. Now, when I go over here to tools, measure area, I want to measure this right here. It's 863 square feet. And there's my total square footage so far. If I'm looking at, I don't know, carpet for that particular one, I can start to go through and change this over here to CPT1. And this one right here is also CPT1. We want this to be a default, just kind of going with setting up my PDF for success. I'm going to start to utilize my tool chest, right? So my tool chest has all of these different tools. I have this area here called My Tools, which is really nice. And I can apply these over here to My Tools. Add to tool chest, My Tools, and there they are. Here's a nice little shortcut, by the way. Also, you'll notice all the numbers that are here, 1 through 10, it'll go 11, 12, etc. Drag this to the front. And these are your shortcut keys if you want to create new things based on your My Tools, right? Change this to detail, CPT1, right? If I want to start to add more area carpeting, watch this. Over here, all I have to do is use my number 1 on my keyboard. So watch, hit escape, hit the number 1, and now it's ready to go. You'll notice, wait a minute, it's the wrong size. Double click on it to go into properties mode instead of drawing mode. And properties gives you new properties every time it's created. I'll hit 1 again, and now it's ready to go. If I have multiple areas over here, what I'm going to do is use my reuse tools. This is in the display properties. Turn that on. And watch, I'm going to hit the number 1. And as soon as I'm finished, boom, boom, it's ready for the next area. And I can easily start to go through and do all my different areas. If I have multiple areas like this, I'll just take them and kind of blend them in like that. Pretty cool. And that is all my shortcuts. By the way, I don't know if you've seen this already, folks. If you are on review 21, there's a new version called 21.3 that came out. That's a free update. If you go to help, check for updates. There's some really cool things. Can I show you something that's really cool? It's called dark mode. This new icon over here called dark mode, when I click on it, it changes my drawing to anything that I want. In this case, to a black inverted drawing. So if you're staring at your monitor for 8 to 10 hours a day and really don't like this white background, dark mode gives you the opportunity to temporarily change the color background of your PDF. This is over here, controlled. The color is over here, but you'll see it says dark mode. This is different. This dark theme is the theme for the application, but the dark mode itself is controlled inside here where we can set up the different kind of colors. Where is that? They just created that somewhere new. Interface. This is a brand new feature. Anyway, I'll have to come back to it. But let me see. Misty, do we have any questions so far in the audience?
So
Oh,
questions. Let's see.
there's
Jared did say,
dark mode.
yep.
Right here. Under advanced 2D rendering, dark mode is something that's new. But if you wanted to have that old-fashioned look of a blue line drawing, right? Ah, how cool is this?
I
Now
like
you
that.
have a blue line. I know, right?
Yeah.
Very good. All right. What questions you got there for me?
All right. So Jarrett said, is the layers to PDF tools available for microstations?
That I don't know. I don't speak MicroStation. I'm sorry. The Autodesk all day long. MicroStation. You would have to look in the properties of your PDF export and see if there's something similar to include layer information because I don't know MicroStation. Sorry.
Okay. So let's see.
Oh,
Um,
I got an idea though for them. You can export out to DWG, right? From MicroStation. So then from there, um, if you export out as a DWG, open it up in AutoCAD, and then print it as a PDF as from MicroStation format to DWG, then DWG to PDF. Maybe that might be a workflow if you have AutoCAD installed.
all right. And Darren was talking about, he's a Bluebeam review user, and
Whoop,
he
whoop.
didn't know you could use key strokes for his tools. And he said in dark mode, black lines become white. What color do gray lines become?
Oh, let's find out. You know what? I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Tell you what, I'm gonna come over here and do a gray line. And I'm gonna make it nice and thick. So here we go. Boom, 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 boom. All right, here goes. Drum roll. They become gray. They stay gray. How's that?
Gray is
Gray stays gray. Gray stays gray. Um, Yeah, and you know what's really nice about the My Tools area is that so a lot of times if I have something that I'm going to be using over and over again, right? If you've seen any of my webinars, you know, folks, I love my tool chest. I love my tool sets. I love going through and creating custom tools. But you'll notice over here, if I'm doing stuff with a contractor, right? These are the built-in tools that comes in Bluebeam Review. And if I go through and I say, you know, I really want to use this over and over again, but there's no shortcut, just grab it, drag it over into your My Tools, and now you have a copy of that here under contractor. And now from here, I can hit escape, hit one, and now I have those tools. Right? So that's an easy way of like, hey, I need to go through this all the time. Whatever it is that I'm about to do, if I'm doing count, right? I can come over here, drag that bad boy up to the top. And then as I'm working on a drawing, I can quickly go, hey, I need to do a count. I'm just going to hit the number one. And now I can easily start to go through and do that. That saves me so much time. I change it up, do something different. So again, My Tools is a great area for that. Oh, here's another one. Oh, this is a great new thing in Review 21.3 that just came out. Do you guys know about statuses? So let's say this right here was a real red line, right? Fix this, Misty ASAP, right? I'm going to turn off blue line over here, right? And Misty gets this and she fixes it. Well, a lot of people forget about using statuses. If they're sending a red line to someone, they can click inside here and change the acceptance. But now included are keyboard shortcuts. If you come from the keyboard shortcut community and you love keyboard shortcuts, this is something that's nice and new. Now I can do shift statuses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these are customizable, by the way. So now I select this, I hit shift 3, boom, and it's canceled. I select it again, I do shift 5, and it's set to none. Let's see what, right? it's been completed, shift 4. So I select it and I just do shift 4. Boom, done, set to complete. I do this one, shift 4, done, completed. And it's really great. I don't have to click on it and double click inside here. That's really, really nice. Another nice new feature is if you have a lot of clouds or markups that are on top of each other, right? So over here, I'm going to fill this with green. Ready? I'm going to fill this one with here with a different color with blue. Well, if I want to go through and see this information, guess what? I can go over here, right click on it. This is a new feature, hide. I can hide particular markups. I can select this markup over here and hide that markup as well. And my markups are temporarily hidden. And if I want to see them, hover over this and it shows me all my markups. So if you have a lot of markups on top of markups, you can easily go through and temporarily hide them. And if I want to reveal them all, just double click. And now they are revealed. So dark mode, and hiding, and shortcuts for status, I think are my top 3 favorite new features of 21.3. What else?
Yeah,
you know what? Yeah.
I'm loving this open discussion in the chat. They're totally vibing and giving each other information. So I love it. I did want to highlight, let's see, I want to go up to some of these. Let me come back to it.
Tool chest search. Oh, tool chest search. Yeah. Hey, folks, check this out. Thanks, Nate. I now just opened up the chat. So in the tool chest, this is a nice new feature over here. If you have a bunch of tools, now you can search them. So I am looking for everything with the contractor. I can just start typing this in and it'll pull in just the tools associated with contractor. I'm like, nope, I want the tools with architect. And it just gives me all my tools that are for the architect. This is awesome. Civil, I don't have any civil tools, but that is awesome. How to do count with check marks again. Patrick, you've got it. You want to see? I'll show you. All right. I want to count something over here. I can count it manually. I'm going to go over here. That markup tool over here was a count measurement tool that I have in my tool chest, but where it's located is here under tools, markup, nope, measure. I lied. Measure, count. When you apply that in the top properties bar, you'll see that you have default check marks. Over here, you can set up and use any of the out-of-the-box 5 symbols or create your own, and you'll see them listed down below here. So over here, I might have different tools, and I can start to go through and check all the ones that I want. When I'm done, right, hit escape, select it, and here it is. If I want to give this a unique thing, like this is 1 hour rated doors, right? And I go, oh, you know what? I need to pick up the doors that are over here. I'll select it, right click, and resume the count, and then continue picking up the doors that are located, let's say here and here, right? They're like, oh, this is great. How many doors do I have over here? Turn on the markups list, go to columns, turn on count. I have 9 doors. The question usually over here when I go, Patrick, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to send this to someone who doesn't have Bluebeam Review. They don't see our cool markups. I'm going to create a legend by selecting one of my count icons, right click on it, go to legend, create new legend, and boom. There it is right there. I like giving it a little oomph. There it is. Make it smaller. And this is live linked. So if I start to go through and right click, add more doors, resume count, there's some doors here and over here. Now it updates to 12. Cool. All right. Merge counts. Yep. Resume counts is great along with merge counts. David, 5 points for that one. Yes, merging counts is great. If you copy count from one PDF to another and you want to erase a bunch of counts, you may select a range, or is it just right click and remove count one at a time? So if you do count these from one page to the next, yeah, you have to go through and delete one at a time. Maybe someone else has a different way of doing it. I don't know of a different way of selecting multiple of them to go through that. Keith, can you resume visual search? I found a visual search does not find all the items. That's a great question. So let me open up another file. I like this one right here under tutorials. And I'm going to go over here and do quantity takeoff. By the way, you didn't see it, but on the other screen are tutorials, quick little tutorials that are 3 minutes long. There's a preview video, but I like it because it has this data sample. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to close this, save what I'm working on. All right, over here, let's get rid of all of the markups that are here. If I'm looking for an item, right? So you guys saw how I did a count visually, or just manually, I should say. But if I wanted to go through and do a different count, let's say I'm a mechanical contractor, right? And there's my mechanical. So I want to take a look and find these diffusers, right? Or an L2 or L1, whatever it is. You can do what's called a visual search. Now, this visual search, by the way, is something that is available in Bluebeam Complete and the middle one, Core, not Basics. So you have what's called a text search, like something like L1, RF1, L2. But if it doesn't have text, you can do what's called a graphic search or a visual search. Define the area that you want to look for. And Bluebeam says, hey, I want to look for this item right here. And my hint, this is usually like somewhere around here. You're not going to hit as many varying different type of diffusers. You know, like, look, this one right here is sandwiched between these two lights. So what I tend to do is go all the way down and then go up one, right? So this gives me more flexibility and it'll have more things that it'll find, like this guy right here, or this one that has varying degrees of what this looks like. When I click, I can search the current page or the whole document, right? So if I have 5 floors of reflected ceilings, I'm going to do the current document and it'll go through all the drawings. I typically do page at a time and then I'll click search. Down below over here will be the search results. And there are my search results. When I start to take a look, this is a preview. It might be kind of hard to see what these look like on my screen or on your screen, but this gives you an idea of everything that's looking for. Can you show how creating forms? Oh, if I have time, I will do forms, Rick. Folks, by the way, these are great questions. If I don't have a chance to get to your question, Misty, where do they reach out to?
Yeah, so y'all can send them directly to me and I will get them connected to Rick. So I'm going to put my email in the chat for you guys.
Yeah,
That way it's
put it in there.
Shop.
Yeah, so check out the chat. It's mscott at asti.com. Also info at asti.com will get you there too. So just try either one, mscott or info. I would send it to either one. So send it to both. Who knows? All right. So over here, let's go back. I'm going to apply a check mark and I'm going to select them all and apply a count. So applying a count has the built-in tools over here at the very top where I can select any one I want, or I can use one of the ones I've defined. By the way, you can define the different type of graphic forms that you're using for different things. So you can easily create whatever you want. Here's one for smoke detectors. Here's one for CCTV. If I wanted to keep it generic, right, I can use these. And I'm going to show you something. I'm going to use this red one, right? Like, holy moly, Rick, I can't see what's underneath it. By the way, these are already in my selection. I'm going to go ahead and clear that result out. And then I'll say like, hey, I can't see what this is. By the way, that generic count says generic count measurement. Over here is supply vents, right? But you can't see through them. Select it, right click, go to properties, and I know I'm doing this pretty quickly. Over here, change its color to something you want, right? And then I'm going to scale this up. Still can't see through it. So what I'm going to do is change its opacity. Usually 60 or 50% is my happy medium. And now I can zoom out and easily see all of them. To resume the count, right? It missed a couple. I'll select it, right click, resume count. Boom. This gets 90% of the way there. I'll be honest with you folks, it really is hit or miss. I shouldn't say hit or miss. I take that back. It gets you 90% of the way there. So you want to make sure to go through it manually. I have noticed that if you have over here line weights turned off, it has a lower chance of hitting and catching everything. With thicker lines, it does a much better job. Now, you might not have seen much of a difference, but trust me, if you turn this off, so it has nice thick line weights, Review has an easier time of finding more of these. And again, just like before, I can select one of those and go over here and create new legend. Boom. And then I can come back to it, right? I can save it and then go, let's go back to it and resume the count. And take a look for whatever it is. Boom, there's one right there. And it updates that information. Yeah. All right, let's see what other questions. Visual search is a good way to check you haven't missed something in your manual takeoff. Yes, David. Oh, awesome. How do we add more count icons that were on your list? Patrick. And I do apologize, I'm kind of looking at the last ones here on the call. If I want to add a custom count, how are we doing on time? 1:42, I think we got time. Let's say I want to have a custom icon. I'm just going to create something crazy. I'm going to go over here and draw something, right? And I'm going to change it over here and change its color. And by the way, you're not limited to just objects, right? I can take something and draw it here. And so let's say this is the object, right? I'm going to make a little circle. Boom, right there, right? I'm going to group this object by right-clicking and group it. Take the object, and I need to add it to, add it to a tool chat. I'm going to go over here and add it to, I'm going to add it to architecture review. This is a little bit of a lengthy process, but what you need to do is define the group first. Then what I'm going to do is right-click on it and tell it to create a count. This is now a count measurement, but you'll notice it's generically called count measurement. Select it. While it's highlighted, go to its properties and change the subject to exactly what it is. And so this is outlets. Maybe this is smoke detectors. Smoke detector. Right? Click in the next one for this to stick. And now you'll see this is updated. So when I put in this object right here, this is now ready for it. Smoke detectors. And there it is. And I'm not limited to just this. You want to see something fun? I'm going to go over here and open the Google, as my mom calls it, the Googly. And I'm going to just look for icons, right? I'm just going to find something. I want this to be my thing, whatever it is, right? Get this. I'm going to use Windows. Ready for this? Snipping tool. You can see, guys, I love geeking out over this. I'm going to use snipping tool, and I'm going to snip it. This right here. Boom. It's copied to my clipboard. I'm going to go to review, Control V. Guess what? This now is going to be an icon. I'm going to add that to my architect reviews. Right click, create count, and t-shirts. I'm going to select this, and here's how many t-shirts I have. I got 5 t-shirts, and put count on. And again, just like before, I want to create a legend of this. There it is, t-shirts. How cool is that? Misty, did you know that you could take screenshots of pretty much anything out there on the World Wide Web using Windows? And now I have a custom little icon.
That's pretty nifty. I do that on a daily basis. So yes.
It's awesome. Love it, love it. What other questions do we got in here? How cool is a legend count? Yeah, Darren, whoop, whoop. Again, folks, if you see me at AU, if you're at AU, or again, if you have questions afterwards we didn't get to, send an email out at info@asti.com. What other things do you all want to see? And again, this is your time to shine also. Feel free to unmute your microphone. If you have a question, go up mute. Say, hey, Rick, I got a question. 6 t-shirts, yeah, Keith. How do I delete old markup statuses? So the statuses that are here, right? So by the way, these are like things that I've gone through and started to create. Once they're created, they're set. The nice thing about this is as you start to go through and create your statuses, it keeps a grocery list of everything that was done. So there's no way to clear it. This is actually there for you. So this was Keith's question on how to delete old markup statuses. This is built in. So unless someone else has a different way, the review statuses kind of give you a grocery list of history. Yeah.
Really quick, I did allow Patrick, he raised his hand to come off of mute. If you would like to come off of mute, you just need to accept my request for you to come on, Patrick, to ask your question. But it's been sent over, so just letting you know, Rick, I have opened that up.
Awesome. Good. Robert, have you tried, or are you tried, I would imagine you meant, have you tried AutoCAD help coming up when you accidentally hit F1? Use the CUI to change F1 to be treated as escape. You know what? It's funny. You know what? Let's see what happens. I'm going to come over here on my laptop.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is there ability to, this is going to be a challenge. Can you count shapes, like say a polygon or a rectangle, to sketch to scale? Because I use them for rooms, like on a plan. Can you count those?
You know what? I would have to see that, Patrick. Tell you what,
I
send
sent an email to info@asti.com already. Yeah. I just thought I'd ask it.
Yeah, I'd have to have my hands on it. Do me a favor, send the PDF as well. Let me take a look at it and then try to get back to you. I'm going to be limited on time. I'll be honest with you. Tomorrow's kind of like the last day before heading out to AU, and I'll be gone for the entire week. So if you do, folks, send out. Patrick, thank you so much, by the way, for getting off mic and showing your face. I really appreciate it. But usually I turn around pretty quickly with these answers. If there's a way to do it, I will find out how to do it, or find someone to help us figure these things out. I love pushing review to the max and looking for items. A lot of times, so Patrick, you mentioned about rooms. One of the things that I really like doing, if you're coming, question for Patrick, are you using Revit? Well, if you are, you can incorporate spaces. So, in Revit, you create rooms. Rooms keeps track of all your schedules. If you use the Bluebeam plugin in Revit, you can export out spaces. And it's like, what the heck are spaces? I'm going to go over here and turn on spaces. Spaces come in automatically from Revit if you use the Bluebeam review add-in. And so what's cool about this is, let's say this doesn't have spaces. But what I can do is I can tag, I can create a space. I'm going to add a space. And over here, this is a particular space. And I'm going to call this stair number 1, right? When this information over here, and I'm going to turn on spaces, highlight space, right here, when I place a markup on top of that, and I'm just going to place something right here, said, whatever it is, it comes in with that space. So now all my associated markups that are placed inside this area right here, any markup can now be tagged to that space. So now I can start to organize all my markups per space. So here's a perfect example. I do a lot of walkthroughs, right? And if I have spaces, as I start to do my punch list walkthrough on an architectural job, all associated issues with this one space can be categorized by clicking here. And now I can see all the things that are associated with that space. Michael, yes, it might be easier to assign the room rectangles on their own Bluebeam layers to grab the markups list to create a count legend. Yeah, I'm not sure where you're talking about on that one, but grab the markups list, agreed. Another option is to create custom sketch to scale tools. Yep. Yep. Oh, this is great dialogue, folks. Yeah, this is perfect. What other things? Alex asked earlier on, how do you copy markups to an updated design drawing? Oh, so get this. Over here, I go to my markups list, go to markups, export markups. This is going to create a BAX file. I'm going to save that theoretically on another drawing, right? Watch this. I'm going to go over here and markup, export markups. I'm going to put it over here in my downloads, right? And let's say for argument's sake, this is my updated drawing with 0 markups. How do I import them? I go back to the markups list, go to markups and import those markups right there. And now they're, oh, we saw them. Now they're back here in my project. So this is great, especially if you have an updated set of drawings. So who asked that question? Alex. 5 points for Alex. Yeah, so you can get that. All right, let's see what new questions we have. After you do the count, how do you get legit up there? I don't follow you. How do you get the legend up there? So after you create your markups, right, select one of the markups. This is a question by 6Chen. And the question was, after you do the count, how do you get the legend up there? I didn't follow. So select one of your markups, right click on it. And one of the options down below over here is to create a legend. Now, if you have an existing legend that you've created, you see that they're already labeled just generically called legend. You can update it. So if I have more things that I'm counting, I can update it to that legend. So I'm going to go to legend and create a new legend. And there it is right there. But now let's say I'm doing a different type of legend. I'm starting to count something else. I'm going to measure over here, count, and I'm counting these objects, right? And I'm going to call these RC2s, right? Those, how many RC2s I have 3 currently, right? I haven't done the count, but I want to include it in this legend. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to select this. First of all, give it a unique name, and I'm going to call this RCP legend. Oops. Let's try it again. RCP legend. Give it a unique name. And I want to include this in this legend here. I'm going to select it, right click, go to legend, and now include it in the RCP legend, and it adds it to that existing legend. And so you can keep doing that over and over and over again. Nate Batch slip sheet for updating a new drawing revision. Yes. So we're not going to have time for those 5 minutes, but yes, to batch slip sheet. Let me just kind of walk you through what that would look like. If I have an original set of drawings, Bluebeam has the ability to go through and update a new set of drawings by doing what's called batch slip sheet. Now, this batch slip sheet is available in the complete version. I don't think it's in the core version. Like, what the heck is he talking about? Bluebeam is sold in 3 different editions or versions. To see what version you have, go to Review and About, and you'll see that you either, if you're in Review 21, it'll say Basics, Core, Complete. Complete has the batch features that allows me to go through and batch slip sheet. So the whole idea is that when I do a batch slip sheet, I locate my original files, my revised files, and then when I do that, it'll give me an option to either get rid of that old sheet or keep the new sheet on top, the old sheet underneath, and it'll put superseded on it, and it'll take the markups automatically and move them up to the revised file. This is a really cool feature. Again, that is under batch slip sheet. By the way, if you want to learn more about any of these tools, a great resource is Bluebeam University. In Bluebeam University, it is complimentary to your learning and included in Bluebeam subscription. So check it out, and then you can look for a batch slip sheet. So I'm going to just launch Bluebeam U. This doesn't replace my training, which, by the way, I do training all the time for our customers. So if you're interested in training, again, reach out to us. Say, hey, I want some one-on-one training with Rick. I can provide that. If you want to do Bluebeam U, which is included, it's not live, but I can do over here, batch. And here's batch link, batch slip sheet. And when I click that, this will take me right to a video or content on Bluebeam U on how to do batch slip sheet. Again, this doesn't replace me. It just complements. It's an additional resource.
Nothing
All
can
right.
replace Rick.
Aw, thank you. I love you guys.
No, they've been amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you know what I said in the chat, Rick? I think we need to do a version 2 of this in a few months after things settle down and holidays. Maybe do a second version of this open discussion because there's tons of really great questions and conversations going on.
Yes, yes. The last question real quick. Again, email was rejected. Try info@asti.com. There it is again. So try sending an email, Patrick, without an attachment. Maybe that might be it. If it's over 5 meg, it shouldn't be rejected. But again, folks, thank you so much. Again, it was without an attachment. Patrick, do me a favor, put your email here in the chat. I'll send you a quick email so we can keep in touch. Put it over here in the chat, and I'll make sure to send you an email from me. Again, thank you all so much. There's so much. As you can see, I'm super excited about Bluebeam. We have these monthly events. Check our calendar again, and it's every month. It's free, and it gives you an opportunity to just, ask questions. I love this.
Absolutely.
So I got your information.
And I put on the screen here, there's a link for Bluebeam training, and make sure you book the one and only Rick Kremer so you can get the best of the best. And I do have that email in the chat also, Patrick. You can also send it to me as well, and I'll get you linked up with who you need to get linked up with. But I do want to thank you all for joining us today. We hope it was meaningful, impactful, and maybe a little entertaining as well.
It's fun, right? I love these emojis. Are you seeing these emojis? Rick,
I know. This is a great group. All of y'all, I better see y'all in the next episode that we do of this because y'all have been totally amazing. And if you go to AU, if you don't stop by and see Misty and Rick, I'm going to look at all of these names and I'm going to search for you in the AU mobile app. So y'all
That's
better
right.
come
We'll
by and see
hunt
us.
you down.
Yeah,
We got great giveaways too, free
yep.
giveaways at the booth. So come by, say, hey, Rick, I want one of those giveaways. Ask me questions on Bluebeam or anything that we offer. I'll be happy to help. So thank you all. Stay safe, everyone. I'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.